Hello everybody and welcome to Mr. Stansfield's educational videos. Today we're going to be just looking at a really quick thing. It's really a clarification for anybody who is finishing up their photo montage project. We're really just going to look at how to save and finish this up. So there's a couple of things going on here. This is a student's photo montage that they did. Now I'm just going to hit Command Option 0 to look at it at 100%. You can see here that it is very, when you get up close here, you can see that the file is very big. Command 0 will zoom out again. There's a couple things. First and foremost, I just want to point out that this student here actually sourced their images from the wrong place. And there's a couple reasons that I know that. If I hit Command Option 0 again, Command minus a couple times, we can zoom out. And you can see that the drop shadow here, all right? So if you finish your photo montage, you'll have done a drop shadow. Now the drop shadow should be a little bit bigger than this. I can see it's really quite small. It's just barely separating the photo. And that tells me that this student sourced their images from the original folder when they did their batch resize, or they skipped the batch resize. So just a reminder that when you do your photo montage, you're going to be sourcing your images from the subfolder. When you do your batch resize, it's going to make a new folder called JPEG, or maybe rename it to JPEG 1000. But in any case, it's okay. This student had enough room to work in this file, and there's a couple of things we're going to do to finish it up and save it. The first thing we're going to do is just crop it. Now, I think you should crop the image so that the max width of, or rather, let me say this. You want to crop the image so that there is some white border around here. You can see I'm not cropping it right to the edge of the image. That's not going to be exactly what we're looking for here. We may do that later, but we want to have the option of having some white space around there. So I just crop it and have it be roughly even if you can. Obviously, the edges of this go off and around, and that's fine. The other thing that you're going to want to do before you save is just make sure you add that drop shadow. So if you don't add that drop shadow, make sure you add that drop shadow. Now here's where things can get a little bit confusing. After you crop, File, Save As. You always want to save as. And you're just going to find a safe place to keep this. In this case, I pulled it right off my desktop, but you're going to make sure that you go into your Google Drive account, navigate to the right folder, and then save it right there the way you normally would. Last name, first name, and then photo montage. Now this is really important. The default, if you have layers, is to save it as a Photoshop file. So we're going to click Save. In this case, I've already got a version of this here in the same place that I'm saving it. So I'm actually going to hit Cancel, and I'm just going to go ahead and put photomontage2.psd and click Save, and then OK. It's going to take a little while to save. You can see the wheel it's thinking right there. It's going to take a little while to save because it's a pretty big file. Anytime you have lots of layers and a large size, it'll take a while. All right, the next thing is to flatten the image. Go Edit, or rather Layer, and then Flatten Image. It's going to get rid of all those layers and bring it down to one. I'm going to go to Image, Image Size. Oops, not Canvas Size. Image, Image Size. And then we're going to resize the way we would normally size for print, which is to take 10 inches on the long side, change the resolution to 300 pixels per inch, choose bicubic sharper because it was 300, now it's 17. We're making it significantly smaller. Right, this is the actual size of the image now. Right? And then we're going to go File, Save As, not Save, it's really critical. We're going to change the format from Photoshop to JPEG. Click Save. We need maximum here, bring that up to 12, click OK, and we are done. Close, and done. And I just wanted to add, really quickly, take a look here in Adobe Bridge. You can see that we've saved this now 3 times. This was the original file the student gave me, and this was the file we saved after cropping, and it saved as a .psd file. That's a Photoshop file. And then here we saved it after we flattened it and saved it as a JPEG. So just really quickly, I wanted to show you one of the reasons why we would want to do this. We can double click on the Photoshop file and open it here in Photoshop, and you can see all of our layers are right there. But if we go back to Bridge and double click on the JPEG, well, there aren't any layers, so if I wanted to edit something now, I couldn't. Let's go back to this Photoshop file really quickly and I'll show you how to edit the drop shadow. If we double click on drop shadow, we could increase the distance and size, and you can see it's going to give me a little bit more separation here. And this is probably about what I would want that drop shadow to look like. So right now it's 46, 16, 95. Just kind of pick those based on a visual impression of the image. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to go ahead here, right click, control click, copy layer style, select the rest of the layers down here, shift click, control click, sorry, paste layer style. I'm just going to make that pop just a little bit more, that drop shadow pop just a little bit more. The numbers that I gave you were really if you had worked with the correct size, but like I mentioned earlier, the student had used the larger size files. So no harm done. We were able to make an adjustment and it looks pretty good. So that is why we save two files. That is why we save a Photoshop file and then a JPEG file.